colleges and universities and the coaches' contacts within that area. And I'm looking for schools and universities within that perimeter of maybe 2-3 hours away that I might be interested in. And I'm going to send those coaches, I'm going to look on that athletic website. I'm going to find an office number. I'm going to find an email address, a Twitter account, something that I can contact them and say –
a player questionnaire.
Something. And say, here's a little bit about me. I'm going to be playing in the AJGA at Chateau Elan next week. So I'm going to contact, Georgia Tech, Georgia, Georgia College and State. I'm going to Georgia State. Those are all some schools in that general Atlanta area. And I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to be at this event. Here's some basic information about me. My family and I are going to try to stop by your campus and see a few things. We'd like to maybe have a conversation with you or at least meet you. I'd love for you to come out and watch me play this week. Even if you only have time to stop by for a few minutes, watch me hit some range balls.
Yeah.
Tell them a little bit about yourself and give them an opportunity to get on their radar. Because there's only a small percentage of kids in the country, the top 80 or 100, 200 kids in the country that are getting actively sought by college coaches. So, if you're not in one of those players and you're looking to play college golf, you have to be the aggressor.
Right.
You have to be on the forward part of going after them. You have to give them contact information and reason for them to want to talk to you. And the more and more opportunities for you to contact them, the more and more chances they're going to say, well, this guy's been pretty consistent. He's got a good resume, seems like a good family, good kid. He might be a good fit for us. I'm going to go watch him play this week. And from there, they're going to get, good impressions about your character, your game, your credentials, and everything. And then that's when things really start to get going for them.
Yeah, that's perfect. I don't think you could have had a better answer to that, to be honest with you. So if there was – I guess I'll rephrase my question that's on the screen already. If you could do one thing and one thing only as far as reaching out and contacting that coach, what would you do if you're a high schooler?
I would have done a better job of picking well-rounded events with better fields, events that I know instead of smaller events. I played a lot of local stuff when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know any better. I didn't have any friends that were playing junior golf.
Mm-hmm.
I played Euro AJGA events as a player.
Mm-hmm.
I played some other bigger events that I played well in, and that's where I got my opportunity to play college golf. But I would do a better job of contacting someone about finding out which events are ranked higher, which events you have a better chance to see coaches, which events have better fields, better opportunities to get recognition. And I would do a better job of just marketing myself more than anything.
Sure.
Being more proactive when it came to contacting coaches, sending out resumes, going to all the prospective schools I was interested in his website, looking up their information, filling out a player questionnaire. I would have done that in the 9th grade if I'd have known better.
I think for me, when I was a prospective student athlete in high school, for me, I was on top of it. I was proactive, but one thing I wasn't was persistent. I filled out the player questionnaires. I contacted each coach at least once. And, I did start a little too high. I didn't start with the lower schools and work my way up to create some leverage and really get my name out there. But, saying that, I think one thing I would have done differently would have been, even if you're contacting an SEC school or ACC school, big time programs, and they're not responding to you, you can still be persistent with it.
Correct. And it's not to the point where you're aggravating them with an email every week.
So what's like a –
But, if I'm getting an email from a guy, once every, 2-3 weeks or every month, and he's just updating me on scores or potential schedules or events he's going to be playing or opportunities to meet him or, about coming on campus for a visit, because coaches they're never going to turn down a campus visit whether you're ranked first in the country or 10,000th in the country, because campus visits allowed them free publicity.
Yeah.
So
that's gold as far as information goes for you guys.
Correct. And the one thing
college
really
cool.
coaches always love is they love getting kids on campus for a visit, whether they're, right where they want them or somebody they would never look at. They're never going to say no to a visit because, like I said a few minutes ago, it's free advertising. You're going to come on campus and your parents are going to say, hey, we met so-and-so down in Arkansas, great coach, great campus, fantastic program. And when that parent sees another parent at the next event, that's what they're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
Parents love to, parents and players, they love to chat about where they've been, who they've met, things that were great. So, if 4 or 5 people have that same conversation,
Yep.
that's 4 or 5 sets of ears that.
And you guys know better than anyone. You go to these junior golf events and you're seeing your friends, your buddies, different families that you might have not seen all year long. And, you're catching up and having dinner and really just talking to them, picking their brain, especially about college if it's that time.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think a campus visit is, if you're in the area for a junior tournament or you're looking to make plans, a campus visit is the best opportunity to not necessarily market yourself, but give yourself that introduction that you need. Because a coach is going to learn more about you there than he is on the golf course. He's going to learn, what your family's like, what kind of principles you're working with, what you want to study, where your family is sitting financially. Whereas, if he thinks that your family is well off and they can give you a small scholarship based on that, or if he says, this kid's a good player and, I'm willing to give him a large scholarship now. And, there's full rides to just book scholarships or walk-on spots. I mean, there's opportunities anywhere and everywhere. You just have to be persistent and be willing to, have that conversation with the coach.
Awesome.
Now, I had a question.
Okay.
When you were talking about how, like, a college coach comes to see you play,
Correct.
Now, what would they be looking at? Like your routine setup, how you approach the ball, where your target line is, stuff like that?
John, I think we're actually about to get into that. If you just hold tight, I think we have one more question, and then we're going to talk about college coaches. So we'll get right to you.
All right. Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
I have a question.
Okay.
I'm 13, and I was just wondering when to contact coaches, when to look at campuses, stuff like that.
Sure.
I would say, as far as getting out feeler emails and stuff about yourself, never too early. I'm not sure if you guys saw the article a few months back where University of Oklahoma, it actually happened a few years ago, but they just redid the article. Brad Dalkey committed to University of Oklahoma at the age of 12.
Yep.
And everybody ridiculed him about it. They said, this is the stupidest thing that's ever happened. And I watched the kid play multiple times when I was recruiting, and he is a phenomenal player.
Yeah.
And every year –
I think he just played his first tour event, didn't he?
Correct. Every year he's continued to get better. And when he graduated, he was the 5th-ranked junior player in the country.
Yep.
So at any time, is never a bad time to contact a coach.
Actually, he was just on XM PGA Tour Radio the other day. His mom was listening in, called in and told him about his whole story and committing so early, and they actually had him on the next day.
Correct.
That was pretty cool.
So it's never too early to be proactive. Sending out resumes. Just about every college coach or university on their athletic website, when you go to the golf department, they'll have a questionnaire. And that will just be a little bit about yourself, your game, your family, where you're from, some of your interests, that kind of stuff, strengths and weaknesses of your golf game.
It's more or less, doing the same thing or getting somewhat of a feel for you as a person and, your family and their background.
Correct.
And you as a player too.
Yeah. That's the best thing. If you're 13 would be a perfect age to start sending out questionnaires and getting feelers out there and mention to, some coaches, send them your schedule, your resume, a little brief something about yourself and some of your intentions and plans for the future, because, you start seeing coaches, they're going younger and younger these days.
Yeah.
Some of the bigger schools are, 3 or 4 years out, they're committed up.
I would start, as soon as possible. These guys are, you might think they're too young, but they're willing to talk to you. They might even be more willing because, they see the potential and the opportunity for you to get better as a player.
Yeah.
Correct. And as far as when you send them an email, they can't email you back or call you back, but if you call them and catch them in the office, you're more than welcome to talk to them as much as you want.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be getting your name out there and making an impact early.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And just a little rules knowledge from the NCAA. So Taylor, this would apply to you. You technically wouldn't be able to contact, that is, email, text message, phone call. You can, right? Yeah, phone call until September 1st, your junior year.
Correct. You can contact them. They're just not allowed to
Yeah,
contact
yeah.
you back.
Sorry about that.
You can contact them at any point, but they're not allowed to respond to your contacts until after that date that Mike just gave you.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you.
All right, John, we'll get to your question. So we talked about a little bit about how, Jamie would approach it if he was a high school golfer again. Now, again, putting your coaching cap on, if you were a college coach on the other end of the spectrum, making travel plans, you finally have time. You're not in the office or with your team or have all those obligations. And it's time to go recruit. It's an ongoing process, right?
Correct.
So I think that's the coolest thing about college sports. It never stops. It's kind of just you're rotating guys in, rotating guys out.
Mm-hmm.
There's never one perfect guy to play number one. It's always changing. It's ever changing. The question would be, looking back to when you did coach and the junior events that you went to, what specifically were you looking for in a recruit? And maybe just share a couple instances that you saw out there and some things that you were looking for.
Okay. I tended to recruit a little bit differently than some. Every coach has their own little forte of how they recruit and the ways they recruit.
Yeah.
Some coaches are very technical. They're looking for only good golf swings. They're looking for only great short games. Me, per se, when a coach comes to see you play, unless he doesn't know who you are when he gets there, he has a general idea of what kind of skill you have. He's looked at scores. He's called other coaches. Have you seen so-and-so play yet? Oh, they have a good game. They're pretty solid. Those are some of the things they've discussed. And, if you've had a bad encounter with one coach, there's a chance that he might have mentioned it. Or if you've had a good encounter, he might have mentioned that to another coach. But the things I look for is, to be completely honest with you, I enjoyed watching kids have a bad day more than I did a good day.
Yeah. So that's interesting. That's really that's an eye-opener for me, and I think a lot of you guys as well.
And our head coach was the same way, and he played on the PGA Tour for 7 or 8 years and almost won several times. And he was the same way.
So why is that?
Because when you're looking at a kid in like a mid-major university like we are, being ranked somewhere between 80 and 120 every year,
Sure.
You're looking for kids that have good grades.
Yep.
That's first off. You're looking for kids that have good character, and you're looking for good players. And if you can find all three, it's a triple threat.
Absolutely.
And when I'm watching kids play, I'm looking to see how they carry themselves when they're having a bad day. Are they looking to give up? Are they cursing? Are they throwing clubs? Are they pouting all day long? Are they willing to work hard and persevere throughout the day? Because on a good day, everyone's going to play well. Anybody can shoot 66 that has some good game when they're on.
Yep.
But days when kids are really struggling, are they willing to grind out and shoot that 73 or 74 that's going to make a big difference in a team score in college?
That's so important in college ball.
Correct. That's huge.
Yeah.
It's your 5 guy.
And a lot of times it ends up being a 75 instead of a 76.
Correct.
And you don't see a huge difference in your own ranking, but as far as a team's perspective, it's night and day.
Correct. And one shot could mean, you're tied for third as a team or you finish in 8th place.
Yeah.
And you're going to either
every week
that
happens.
And you can go up 30 spots in a ranking or down 40 spots. It just depends. So when I was recruiting, I was looking for kids that were, they were comfortable. They weren't trying to impress anyone while they were there. They were playing their own game. Good course management. That's the easiest thing you can do for your golf game is be a good course management player. Make good decisions. Really just playing their own game, like I just said.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing was just character for me, because most of the guys I was watching were able to shoot good numbers and they had a good resume. It was all, 80% of it was character-based.
Yeah, that's huge.
And they're not always looking for a person that's the complete player on every aspect. They're looking for tools. Is this player a good putter? Does this player have an unconventional golf swing, but he trusts and plays well? Is he a good driver of the golf ball? They're looking for little small things here and there. And, I've recruited kids that were phenomenal players through and through, and I've recruited kids that just figure out a way to get the ball in the hole no matter what.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of both, but there's no particular set that needs to be recruited.
Right. I think that's the beauty of the game that we play.
Correct.
Now, I have not asked this question. This is kind of how I'm going here. Is DP there? We're getting a little extra noise coming from your end. I don't know if you're muted or not. I think somebody's eating dinner. When you're out there recruiting and you're evaluating those kids, do you ever watch them when they get done with their round or before and how they're acting?
I like watching after the round more than before because you get one or two things. If they've played well, I enjoy seeing what they do after the round. Are they calling their parents as soon as they finish? Or are they running around talking up to their buddies?
Yeah.
Or if they've had a bad round, are they in the corner pouting? You know, are they throwing their clubs around in the parking lot? You know, it's how
you see it all too.
Yeah, you see everything. You see everything from, you know, a kid in the corner that's 17 years old crying on his mom's shoulder to, you know, you'll see a kid in the parking lot that's breaking his 9-iron and throwing it in the bushes. I mean, you see everything. And if you spend enough time out there, really not much surprises you anymore. Yeah,
I actually personally witnessed someone break their entire golf bag over a telephone pole at AJGA.
Oh yeah, that's not something that's unconventional. You see.
So I mean, imagine how that would look to a college coach.
I mean, I don't know of many college coaches in the country that would have not just crossed his name off the list.
Yeah, even if he's top 50 in the country.
At that point, they're thinking
it doesn't matter.
They're thinking he's a great player, but he's somebody else's problem.
Yeah.
So they're not going to deal with that.
So you're not always going to be perfect, but you know, you are going to learn and mature through the years on how to deal with adversity. That's one major question I have my clients ask themselves after each round is, how did you deal with adversity today? And I think that's the same exact thing that Jamie was saying, just in a simpler form. You know, how did you manage your decisions on the course today? How was your attitude? Did you stay composed and confident? Did you stay positive out there? Really just that kind of stuff.
Right. And when a coach comes to watch you play, there's no reason for you to overthink it or try to impress him.
Yeah.
You know you. He knows what numbers you're probably going to shoot based off what your scores and resumes show.
Right.
And he's not there to evaluate score only. He's evaluating talent, character basis, like we talked about, dedication, commitment. And how Mike said, the biggest thing for me was how you handle adversity.
Yeah.
When you get hit, you just give up or you keep going.
Yeah. And you see these guys make it through the amateur ranks and on the mini tours and upwards. The biggest difference is, you know, they'll hit bad shots. The guys on tour hit shanks all the time. You know, they'll hit the bad shots, but it's their ability to recover and deal with adversity.
Right. And I'm not sure if you guys saw any of the playoff yesterday on the PGA Tour. But on the first playoff hole, Justin Rose, or it may have been his final 18th hole, Justin Rose cold-blooded shanked one out of the fairway bunker and hit a patron in the crowd.
Yeah.
And he hit a beautiful 50-yard pitch shot after he was just white in the face.
Yeah.
After seeing the guy he hit laying on the ground, he hit a beautiful pitch shot up and made the putt to go to the playoff hole.
Yeah.
Which was huge. So, I mean,
wow.
If that's not adversity, you know, and going past it, I don't know what is.
Yeah, great. All right, we'll keep rolling here, guys. A little Canadian Tour question for you. You're playing. I mean, you're playing well, and you're trying to make it. How hard has that transition been from? I guess we can go from your playing to your coaching to now playing professionally. And I know you've been working hard at this game, you know, no matter if you're playing or coaching for a long, long time. But how hard has that transition been? And, you know, what are some of the little nuances that you've seen on the Canadian Tour and in pro golf?
I think the biggest thing for me was, even when I was in college practicing, you know, I spent the 3 or 4 hours a day with the team practicing and some time on my own. But the big thing for me has been 4, 5, 6, 7 hours a day at it every day. And, you know, you mix the
– And it's not because you have to.
No, it's because, you know, it's a dream. It's a goal. It's how I plan to earn money.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, obviously I still love the game every day, but it's no longer a hobby. It's a full-time job.
And I think if you're really meant to do it and, you know, you're really meant to make it, like I believe you are, it's a complete and utter passion.
Oh, yeah.
And you love being out there. You love doing what you do.
Correct. And yeah, sometimes hitting 6-footers for 4 hours is going to drive you insane.
Yeah.
And the first hour is going to be fun. And then the second hour, you're going to grow to hate it a little bit more. And by the fourth hour, you don't want to see your putter for 3 days. But the next day, when you're, prepping for a Monday qualifier 3 or 4 days later, and you're knocking down 6-footers like it's your job, which it is now.
And you're taking it all in, you're smiling, and you're in the moment, and you're loving it.
Oh, yeah.
Then it's all worth it.
You're standing over an 8-footer for birdie the last hole to shoot 66, and you're thinking, there is a 0% chance I'm missing this putt. I've hit thousands in the last 3 days.
I don't know about you guys. That gives me chills.
And that's when it pays off. And, the biggest thing for me to adjust has been, I've always traveled with buddies playing college golf and amateur golf and junior golf. Spending 2 or 3 weeks at a time in Canada on the road with all those PGA Tour player guys that have been doing it for 6, 8, 10 years. For me to be by myself all the time and adjusting to that process and being just more self-dependent than I have been in the past has been a big learning curve.
It's almost kind of like you're transitioning into college golf a little bit.
Correct. And it's not as much financially to college golf as it is professional golf because, when you're going up for a Canadian Tour event, if you're going to be there 2 or 3 weeks, you're spending $4,000 or $5,000 while you're there. And you're putting that added pressure on yourself that, I'm spending $4,000. I need to make at least that much back this week in the event. So it's an added pressure. I would say it's definitely different than college golf, but the amount of dedication and hard work that it takes is very similar.
Awesome. Now, looking back to our days as college golfers, if you could provide one piece of advice to one of these prospective student athletes or any high school golfer out there, just one piece of advice, what would it be? I mean, that's a hard kind of nitty-gritty one, but
take advantage of your free time.
yeah,
the difference between
that's perfect.
The difference between kids that are top 100 in the country as college golfers and 3,000 in the country is when they're sitting on the couch at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and their buddies are like, "Hey, you want to go play basketball this afternoon?" And you say, "No, I'm going to the golf course."
Yeah,
that's the opportunity of what I mean in taking advantage of free time.
I love that vision there. But I also see guys that they'll go to the course still, but it's not with that purpose and that drive and that focus that it takes to play high-level golf.
Correct.
And really elevate your game to where it should be.
Correct.
Those guys all have goals. They all have a schedule written out at all times. They know where they're going, and they're trying their hardest to get there.
Correct. And I know you're a big proponent of this. Practicing with a purpose, not just purposeful practice, not just practicing.
Yeah.
Because you could spend 8 hours there and get 2 hours worth of work done, or you could spend 3 hours and get 3 good purposeful hours in.
Yep.
And that could cover your whole day.
So just so you guys know, I was never a DJ Singh, if you will. 8 hours a day, nonstop. My body really just wouldn't allow me to. There were days where I practiced for, almost 15, 16 hours, yes, as much as I could during the summer. But you have to, at some point in time, you have to have that focus and that drive and really realize the quality over quantity aspect of it.
Correct. And it's all about getting things done while you're there, because you could spend 3 hours in the clubhouse, you could spend 2 hours in the snack bar, an hour sitting down on the range on your phone,
chatting with your buddies.
Correct. And you can do it for 8 hours, but you could get double the amount of work in an hour and a half.
Oh yeah.
It's all about purposeful practice. When those PGA Tour players are out there, and I'm out at TPC all the time practicing with those guys, playing with Web.com guys, PGA Tour members, PGA Tour Canada, PGA Tour Latin America players. And those guys, some of them are there 6 or 8 hours, and some of them only come in for a couple hours.
So that's a great next topic. You have to surround yourself with those guys, don't you?
Correct. You surround yourself with people that are better than you. That's the only way to get better.
Yep.
And playing with
in life and in golf, both.
Correct. And it's the same thing. You want to play with people that are going to teach you things, people that you're going to learn from them, and you're going to see what they're doing dedication-wise. That's going to allow you to incorporate that into your own practice schedule, your own life to get better.
Awesome. That's huge.
Now, I had a question before we move on.
Yeah, sure.
Now, when you were talking about like going to colleges and visiting, I'm going to be going down to Methodist, and I contacted the coach and everything like you guys were talking about.
Wonderful.
And a great opportunity that he gave me, and he said that I could go out on their course, play a practice round, and have him follow me. Would that be maybe like a better idea than him coming to a tournament, or see if he could do both?
I would say that's 10 times better.
It's definitely better.
If he's offered to do that already, I mean, that's really, really cool. I've never actually heard or experienced a coach saying that or offering that. That's cool.
Yeah, because I was going to go down for the visit, and then he's like, well, you can come and play the course. And then he was talking about, well, I'll watch you for 4 or 5 or 6 holes and see how you play our course and the course management setup.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's a very good opportunity. And, that's a great opportunity while you're going to be there to be able to use that. But, I would also incorporate opportunities for him to watch you play beyond that.
Yeah.
Because say he sees something he really likes, or, hypothetically, if you see something he doesn't, you don't want that to be your one and only opportunity.
Right.
You don't put that
And a good coach, anyways, a good coach isn't going to base you just off those 5 or 6 holes that he sees you play. Even if you make 6 birdies, they're a lot smarter than that. And they've, the ones that have been around for a while, they really know how to evaluate and feel out the recruits.
Correct. And they know that you're going to be nervous and you're going to be trying to prove yourself. So they're not going to base their one opportunity of learning you as a person and a player off one opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's also coming to the IJGT down at UNC. So
Okay.
Perfect.
Yep, that'll be good
Perfect.
opportunities. 2 good opportunities.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, ask as many questions as you can. If you're at Methodist, I'm assuming it's the summer, right?
yeah, it is.
So most of the guys probably won't be there, but there may even be a couple guys doing, summer sessions and summer school. So ask them if those guys are around, and maybe even get out and talk to them.
Like talk to some of the golfers that have been on the team and see what their point of view is.
Yes,
Definitely.
there's no better perspective than someone that's there right now in their in their element.
Correct.
Okay.
Even if I went back to James Madison today, it still wouldn't be the same team as it or it wouldn't be the same team now as it was 3 years ago when I was there. And I think it's just the same thing's true for any school.
Correct.
So those guys that are there right now, that's intangible stuff. Just talking to them, really just sitting down and being real with them, telling them where you're at, asking them where they're at, and what the team's like.
Okay.
That's awesome. I think you're already on your way to and have some great opportunities lined up for yourself. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep moving here. We just got a couple more, then we'll wrap it up. Hope we haven't bored you guys too bad yet. We do this all the time. Whether it's over dinner or over a 3-foot putting match, whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
We won't tell you who wins those, though. What do most outsiders not realize about college golf? Give me one positive to begin, and then I guess I'll take the bad news next. And we won't end on that because we can't end on the bad.
Okay. I would say positive, a lot people don't realize it, is how big of a game it is and the ways that it improves you as a player and as a person. I'm not sure if you guys – I can't remember who said the quote, but I was reading a golf book when I was younger, and it said the closest sport to the game of life is golf. And something that you learn in the character you build in golf is the sport that you can play that closely, precedes to life. So the more you learn about golf and yourself and build character, it's going to help you out in life.
All right.
So I would think character building is probably the biggest thing I would say is a positive that people don't realize about golf.
Yeah.
Because you learn discipline in other sports, but the discipline of a team in football is different than the self-discipline of making yourself do things that you need to do to get better in golf.
Yeah, and we could talk about this for another hour, but it's an individual sport inside of a team sport.
Correct.
So at the same time that you're playing for your team, you're also on your own and having to do it all yourself. Because, a position in the golf swing or, the way the hole shapes and the way that you're trying to manage, even your tournaments, not the same for every golfer on the team.
Correct.
So, and I ran into this problem a lot when I was in college golf. And I don't want to talk about it for too long, but you're playing it differently. You're seeing it differently.
Mhm.
Everything's different because it's such an individualized sport.
Correct.
But at the same time, you're playing hard and you're in it for the team.
Correct.
One negative.
Negative.
Doesn't have to be necessarily an experience, but maybe, I mean, I know for me it was the 5:30 a.m. workouts in Virginia in the snow. And I'm a born and raised Florida boy, so it was quite the eye-opener for me.
I would say negative for me, I would probably say
Attitude.
I was always a mediocre student, but I enjoyed golf. Like if I could have foregone going to class
Yeah.
every day and done golf
Well,
all day long, I would have. So the negative for me was I didn't take school as seriously as I wish I would have my first year and a half. And I got behind the 8 ball. And it took me some time to catch up. It
Yeah.
took a lot of hard time and dedication to catch up.
and
And-
you guys got to be prepared, before you get there and then even once you get there because, a lot of teams, Division I, I mean, we both came from Division I programs. They had their stuff together. They had, student counselors and advisors and everything, but they can only do so much for you. They can give you the baseline GPA that you have to have for the NCAA, but they can't tell you what your goals are going to be and set them for you. I mean, anyone that, does decently well in high school can meet the standards of the NCAA. I'd say it's pretty similar to being accepted into the school. So you can slack off a little, but what's that really going to do for you? You're, like you said, it could put you behind the 8 ball and, you might have some slack to pick up and some work to do after that.
Oh yeah, and not taking school as seriously as I did, it took me another year and a half, 2 years to catch up. And
Yeah.
going back, I wish I would have taken both as serious.
Yeah.
And that's something that's probably my one negative from college.
Too much love of the game, if that's possible,
Oh, yeah.
folks. All right, we won't end on that. But last but not least, Jamie, if you had one chance to do college golf all over again, and gosh, that's weird to say because we're getting old.
Mhm.
If you were, day one at Jacksonville University as a player or a coach, you can kind of do this however you want. Would you do anything differently?
Player-wise, I would have taken my freshman and sophomore year as seriously on the golf course and academically as I did junior and senior year,
Mhm.
and I would be twice the player I am now.
Yeah.
And I would be twice the person because my grades would have been so much better and I would have done so much more academically.
It would have just been, easier sailing for you, if you
Oh,
will.
yeah, definitely. And I would be in a better place than I am now.
Yeah.
And that would be a huge difference.
Yeah. And not only, preparing yourself for college golf, preparing yourself for each year of college golf,
Correct.
that prepares you for life,
Oh, yeah, 100%.
not only while you're there, but afterwards too.
Correct. 100%.
So, cool. All right,
I have
will
a
go
question
ahead.
before we finish.
We got one more. I have a bonus question. I forgot about this one down
Oh,
here.
okay.
What was your favorite junior golf event and why?
Junior golf event. Like I mentioned earlier, I never.
I know it was a long time ago,
Oh,
but
yeah. I never played any.
really dig deep here.
I never played any AJGA events, but I would say probably the Western Golf Association hosts an event somewhere in the country every year. It just depends on where they have it, called the Western Junior.
I'm going next week.
Oh yeah,
Did I tell you that?
It's a great event, beautiful event. They run-
Riverside Country Club in Riverside, Illinois this
Oh,
year.
yeah. They have it somewhere different. And the year I played, it was at the Seaside course at Sea Island, and
Awesome.
it was probably the biggest junior event I'd ever played in my life.
They play the McGladrey Classic there for anybody that doesn't know.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a
And, there was probably 40 college coaches there, maybe 50. I mean, every top 100 school in the country was there. And I remember shooting like 71 the first day and being like 2 off the lead. And I college coaches everywhere.
So for those of you that want to know, I think Jamie's persevered the most because he really loved those situations. A lot of people would take that almost as a negative or get nervous, but he thrived in that situation. It elevated his game.
And I remember being 16 years old and never playing a bigger junior golf event before ever in my life, just small stuff. And I remember being in that situation, and it was great. I loved every second of it, and it was a great opportunity, and that's kind of where everything opened up for me. And but they run that event awesome. I mean, they run it like a USGA event, like a PGA Tour event. I mean, talking Pro V1s on the range. We're talking courtesy shuttles to your hotel.
Yep.
I mean, it's top of the line, first class, and that was probably the best event I played in. And I would say there's a minimum of 4 or 5 other events in the country that are just as good, if not better.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, cool. If you guys want to chime in with your favorite junior golf event so far, feel free to do that. And if you have any other questions for Jamie, as you see at the bottom of the screen, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Now, I had a question with like how many college coaches or like how many college coaches overall receive the results from like IJGTs or AJGAs when a tournament is like over with?
That's a great question.
That's a very good question. IJGT was probably 80 or 90% of the college coaches look at that. Especially the schools that aren't, top 25 in the country, because, they're looking for kids they've already found 2 or 3 years down the road.
Right.
But AJGA, I would say every coach in the country.
Yeah.
And IJGT, I would say almost every coach in the country.
Yeah.
There's a list of 5 or 6 tours that I would say, coaches have on the, like we had what we called a whiteboard in our little corner of our office when I was working there. And you know how when you're watching NFL draft, they talk about stuff like the war room. We called it the war room.
Yeah.
And we had a board. We had a list of players that we were following. We had a list of events that we were either going to travel to or keep up with scores. So every day when I came into the office, I checked the calendar to see where we were, and then I printed off, results for a player, or I put it in their e-file on a computer, and, I'm checking up on them. Once they've sent me schedules of where they're going to be, I have the player on my list, and I have a list of all the tournaments he's playing on right there. So I'm checking those as soon as they get done. And coaches are always looking for new players that they don't know that say, hey, so-and-so shot 72. Who is he? I'm going to Google him. Going straight to Junior Golf Scoreboard. They're going to AJGA to look at your player profile and look for your phone number, email address, your score ranking. They're looking for your family's info and that kind of stuff. So I would say pretty much all the coaches check all those tours on a daily basis.
Now, also another one.
Okay.
This is like my first year playing in the Hurricane Tour and the IJGTs. How are they set up compared to like local junior tour events? Is it like bigger population that's there, like people-wise, that are going to be watching, stuff like that?
I think it depends, as far as my experience with that, it depends on the event and the time. It depends on the time of year too. This time of year, like we said earlier, the college coaches are getting out and actively recruiting you guys because they have the time to now. So my answer might be different if you asked me that in the middle of October at the end of the fall season, or, right before conference championships or something like that. What would you have to do with that?
I would agree with that. There's only a handful of schools in the whole country where they recruit year-round. Schools like Alabama and stuff, they have an assistant golf coach that recruits, 48 weeks out of the year.
Yeah.
The majority of your schools in
Same.
the country recruit maybe 15 to 20 weeks out of the year tops. They recruit, they go to 20 events in a year maybe once. That's all they can handle. And but it depends on which event you're at, and each event's going to depend on what Mike said, like time of the year, what city you're in, where they are geographically compared to where the schools are.
Okay.
It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah. And go ahead.
No, you're good.
I was going to say, guys, realize it doesn't take much either. My coach recruited me. He only saw me play once. I know multiple guys that have played D1 high-level college golf, and the coach never even saw him hit a golf shot.
Oh, yeah.
So, a lot of times it's a face-to-face meeting, an unofficial visit, official visit, something, that makes them ultimately make the decision. But that doesn't mean you have to, impress a coach 5-6 times over.
Correct.
You can do it 1 or 2 times.
Correct. And at the end of the day, what a coach always knows and his go-to thing, people always say, I stick to my gut feeling. Well, in golf, numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if a coach has a thought or a question, numbers are going to tell him some of the story, and then, character and personality is going to tell him all he needs to know.
That's basically sums up everything you need to know in golf right there. That's such a good way to play this game, I think, that at the end of the day, it's not pictures. There's no pretty pictures. There's no perfect golf swing.
It's just what's the number on the scorecard.
Exactly. And it's not per hole. It's not per 9. It's nothing. It's whatever that total score at the end in that big box ends up being. So I think that's a great way to stay motivated on the golf course and know that no matter if you start with 3 birdies or 3 triples, yes, you're going to be a little more defeated after 3 triples and not as amped up as birdie in the first 3 holes. But at the end of the day, it's still a number. And if you're trying to get recruited and, college coaches are recruiting you, that number is all that matters pretty much. I mean, as far as playing standpoint goes.
Yeah, I would say, numbers are quite a large part of it. Obviously coaches are looking for people with good character. They're looking for people that keep their cool, like we talked about earlier.
Right.
But at the end of the day, when it comes down to making a decision, numbers pretty much tell you what you need to know.
Just a little motivating note for you guys, because even if you do shoot 85, 90 the first day, coaches also look for those guys that can fight back.
Oh, yeah. If you shoot 85 or 90 and then you come back with a 72, and then there's a third round involved, you're going to have some coaches watching you play.
Yeah.
Because they're going to know, what did he do differently? Did he get calm? Is he comfortable? He's willing to fight. He's got some kind of talent. I'm going to watch him play. I used to look for that all the time.
Yep.
Which is actually what I did during one of my tournaments.
Very cool.
Oh, yeah. And you got to stick with it because, you may be out of winning it, but if you shoot an 86 and then 2 rounds of 74, they're going to notice that.
Sure.
And you've grown as a player because of that.
Absolutely. I think that makes you really realize and you gain confidence.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Just from saying, a lot of times we don't believe in ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
And after a round of 85, that can be disheartening. That can get your thoughts going down the drain or the wrong direction. You come back with a good one. Wow. I mean, that does big things for your confidence and your game going forward. So underlying message there is really never give up, never throw in the towel, because this is an ongoing process and this game is, it's ever changing and
something you'll
it's
never
great.
master.
Yeah. You cannot perfect it.
I have a quick question,
Okay.
please.
Yes, sir.
With respect to like the Southeast region,
Sure.
what would the, say, top 3 or top 5 junior golf tours be in order of importance as far as exposure and recognition?
That's a good one. That might have stumped us. No.
The top of the list would be AJGA, obviously. And then you're going to have a list of invitationals and kind of tournaments that are run on by themselves, independent of any
Here,
tour.
Steve, I'm gonna do something special for you here, and Jamie can keep talking during this.
Okay. Like I said, AJGA is going to be the top of your list, and then secondary is going to be probably your smaller tournaments that are run independent of any tour, and then your third list. This might have changed a little bit between now and then. Mike can probably chime in also, but I would say, your FCWTs and your Hurricane Junior Tours are going to be just a step right below that. And with Hurricane Junior Tours, you're going to have SJGTs. You're going to have FJT, like the Florida Junior Tour, and then you have each state usually has a junior tour within its respective golf association. And then if you're on the AJGA website or the Junior Golf Scoreboard website, they have a list of every junior tournament that's played.
We'll show you guys this if you don't know this already. Now, this is the one I use. There's a few databases like this out there. one being on Junior Golf Scoreboard. This is the one I like to use because it's super interactive and it's kind of all right in front of you. And it requires a free subscription on AJGAU. I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it. It's under the Competition 101. You hit Competitive Junior Golf Roadmap. And I won't give you guys my login information, but this is pretty cool, so let's check it out. So you basically just put in male or female, your age. We'll go with 18 because that'll open us up to all the big events here. And you can actually click and select the states that you want. So we'll do everything, I'll even add Kentucky and Tennessee in here. And look at this, you can also add Canada. So you can actually select those and hit go. And it'll give you, and this is a little confusing, so pay attention if you will, state events, regional events, national events that are not on the AJGA, strictly AJGA, which are, the mecca of college or of junior golf.
Mm-hmm.
All really the only ones that college coaches of all sorts are looking at.
Correct.
Premier events and college scholarships. So say here, this starts with January 1 each year, and this database obviously grows and gets updated, but it has every local event, which is pretty cool and pretty overwhelming at the same time.
One could say that this list that you've just produced would be a very good guideline as far as choosing your tournaments. AJGA has been a bear to get in. We've applied to so many of them. I know my son is a 2020 graduate, so we're still very early, but he hasn't got accepted into any of them yet because we're not sure what events we should play to get the stars.
Okay. Well,
So this list that you've produced, we could use that as a good rule of thumb.
Yeah, so 1, 2, and 3 here are basically the gateway events, if you will.
Yeah.
To the AJGAs. And then this is also another conversation, but the AJGA has smaller events and they have junior events, which are open to junior all-star events, open to younger juniors.
Yeah, those are the ones we've applied to, but with no luck.
That's okay. He's still young, and my advice to you guys would just be to stay persistent on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the more of these gateway events that you play, and the more times you apply to play an AJGA, I think the better your luck's going to be.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, not a problem at all.
It's been a wonderful webinar. Very informative. Thank you both.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Steve.
You guys have a great day, and I look forward to the next one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So as we see here, guys, we did it.
One more thing before we go.
Okay.
Sure.
Can you ever out golf yourself, like play too much golf?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Definitely.
So
that was a big component for me. Sorry, say that again?
When you're scheduling your tournaments, like do it enough time where you have break and everything so you're not like overdoing it?
Correct.
Well, and that was John?
Yeah.
John, I'll actually log in and I'll show you this here. If you go into Junior Golf Scoreboard, and this is just a good, let me share this window with you real quick. This is a good view of the boys' rankings here. We'll go into boys. It's the same thing with girls, Laura, Alexis, but you see these guys at the top?
Yeah.
There's a few that have played in double-digit events. There's the exception here, Brandon Thornberry, that's played 23, and he gets in everything. Yeah, he's fully exempt to every AJGA. And even those guys ranked a couple hundred that have played this many events are usually fully exempt.
Yeah.
But if you see these guys at the top, they've only played 5, 6, 7 events. And I'll click on Sam Horsfield here. He hasn't played since April. You know,
Wow.
he stayed competitive at home, but he hasn't played a competitive junior golf event since April.
Correct. And he's mixing an occasional amateur event here and there, that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, the summertime is really the only time where you can play enough events to burn yourself out.
Sure.
And you want to play enough events to where you're getting good competition and recognition and you're improving, but you don't want to schedule something every single week.
And I think it depends on, you know, how far you're willing to travel, what your budget is, and again, the time of year.
Correct. And it also depends on your love for the game.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, when I was playing junior golf, I wanted to play somewhere every week because that's just what I enjoyed doing. I loved golf that much, and I still do. But some people really enjoy golf but don't truly love it. So you have to find the balance of when you want to play and when you want free time.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, look, Laura Alexis, I just pulled up the top girls of the class of 2015. So the ones that just graduated here.
Mhm.
None of the top 14 girls have played more than 10 events. That's less than
Wow.
once a month. You know, and as Jamie said, they are mixing in amateur events.
Correct.
They're mixing in, you know, different any kind of.
You're missing
Any
club
kind of event.
championships in there.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff, and it doesn't necessarily have to be an AJGA event every other week to stay competitive. It's just got to be some kind of competitive golf. So if you and your buddies are going out and playing around to, you know, see who gets first peg on the jet skis next weekend at the lake house,
Sure.
you know, it's just competition. It's reasons to get yourself in shape for tournament play.
Yep.
Now, another thing. College eligibility, taking money as an amateur, how is that affected, and what does it mean by, like, taking money as
Well,
in
you
what
certainly
way?
don't want to lose your eligibility. I mean, that's obvious. That's first and foremost, right?
Well, yeah, but, like, how – when you're taking money or you take the money from an event,
Well,
It has to be.
go ahead.
Well, Mike knows all about this. When he started, he was asking me questions, and now he's telling me things because he's so far in tune with the rules of golf and college recruiting. But when you play in an amateur event, you receive gift shop credits or gift certificates.
Yeah.
Take that up to $700.
It's not real
It's not
cash.
cash. You can take that up to $750 and remain eligible. You just can't physically accept cash or check, any form of actual monetary value when you win something.
so does it matter, like, if it's a member or you're playing in a captain and crew event and you
Well,
win a skin?
Technically, John, if you accept a penny in actual cash, you're deemed ineligible.
Correct.
I know that hurts to hear.
Correct. And like, say you're playing golf with your granddad and you guys are playing for $1.50. You know, obviously, technically that's illegal, but
Yeah.
you know, that's something that
It's overlooked by the NCAA.
correct. That's something that's going to be okay.
It's
But
an unwritten rule.
if you're playing, you know, skins games and captain's choice where they're paying out cash,
Right.
that's when you start getting into questionable activity because
Big money that everybody's involved, and you're kind of putting yourself out there and
correct. And
becoming vulnerable.
there's a
really.
chance that they'll never ever know, but there's a chance that, you know, your little buddy Johnny down the street's mad that you're going to Oklahoma and he's not. He's going to make an anonymous phone call and you're no longer eligible to play college golf.
Perfect example.
Okay.
Does that answer your question pretty much?
Yeah, it does.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I have a question about the Division 1 and Division 2 schools.
Okay.
Do you think it's better to be like in a Division 1 school that's ranked lower, or to be in a Division 2 school that's really high?
Well, you know, it depends on the school. There's obviously less scholarship opportunities for you in Division II. But as a girl, you do have a lot more opportunities than us guys.
Correct.
So saying that, I would weigh your options. I would talk to the coach, see what the opportunity is at the D2 level. If you like the school, and ultimately it comes down to finding the best fit. So if you're in it for the play and the golf, which, I don't recommend just doing that, obviously. You got to be in it for the academics, the love of the school, the love of the game, everything. But if that D2 school fits you better than a D1 school, absolutely pull the trigger. And if they're giving you more money, a D2 school might have less scholarships, but they might have more money available.
Correct.
So you just never know, to be honest with you.
Now, another thing to throw into what she said, would you rather go to a D1 school or a D2 school where you're going to get more options to play throughout your freshman to senior year? Like I was talking to my pro at my country club, what he said is you rather go to, like, let's say a better D2 school where you're going to get more options to see tournament play and play with your buddies instead of playing 4 matches throughout your, freshman to senior year.
John, that's a great point, and you see it all the time. I see great junior golfers, they get in over their head. They don't pick the best fit school for them. And, whether it's top 50 in the country, it kind of just depends on your level as a junior. But if you don't pick the right school for you and you don't have those opportunities to play and develop as a player, you're going to regret it in the long run.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you for answering that. I was always wondering.
Yeah, no, and if it was me and I was in your shoes again, guys, pick the school where you're going to play. Pick the school that is, and that's kind of the best fit. If you're not fit to play at that school, if you know that those guys there, and measure yourself as a junior, as a senior in high school, measure yourself up to those guys by scores, by playing with them, by going out and watching them in their events. Measure yourself up, and you'll get a better look at if you're fit for that school.
Correct.
And make a decision based off of that.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Any more questions tonight?
Like equipment wise or shoes or stuff like that, do you get discounts through the school through different companies?
I'll let the coach answer this one.
It varies school to school. When I was in college, we were all Titleist and FootJoy. We received every school varies. Your team uniforms usually include probably, when I was there, it was 4 FootJoy shirts, 3 pairs of pants, 3 pairs of shorts, 2 to 3 pairs of shoes, a set of rain gear, couple jackets, hats, socks, belts, head covers. I mean, all that comes once you get on the team. That comes free.
Yeah.
And then each school depends on equipment from there. We were all Titleist when I was there, so you receive a discount of cost minus 40%. So
at the D1 level, they'll treat you well.
Yeah.
We'll just say that.
Oh yeah, and prices, stuff is heavily discounted.
And the better player you are on that team, at times it could be more discounted for you.
Correct.
Versus the guy that's number 10.
Correct. And then, the better you become as an individual player in college.
Because you'll have individual scholarships or sponsorships.
Correct.
From there.
Correct. And when I was ranked my junior, senior year inside the top 100, I had a TaylorMade sponsorship, and they gave me pretty much
anything you asked for.
Anything I asked for at any time. Yeah. And now that I'm playing PGA Tour Canada, I'm all Titleist again. So It just depends. But the schools do treat you right. Every school is a little bit different on what they have. Some schools, different brands, different companies, different policies. But
how would here's a little playing devil's advocate here. How would you, D1 versus D2? Have you seen or talked to any D2 guys?
Yep.
I know D1 is a lot better off, and they have much bigger budgets than D2.
Correct. You're still going to receive stuff at Division II. The budgets aren't going to be as big for the teams themselves. By no means are you going to be getting shut out on free stuff,
right?
Or opportunities to prove yourself and receive equipment.
Yeah.
The coaches are going to take care of your uniforms, your clubs, your bags, all that kind of stuff. So the Division I, Division II might be a little bit financially, but it's not going to be enough to where you're going to see a big difference.
Sure.
Okay.
I was smirking a little bit earlier when he was talking about the amount of clothes and basically the big duffel bag that you get the first day of the year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think every college golfer is renowned to knowing that or thinking of that as Christmas Day.
Oh yeah. 100%.
It's pretty crazy how much these guys and these programs spend. I mean, they will treat you well. You gotta hold up your end of the bargain in the end, or else that respect will go kind of the other way. But they will treat you well, whether you're on scholarship or you're a walk-on. Everybody's getting the same amount of equipment.
But yeah, if you're on the team and putting your work in, they're going to pay you. They're not pay you.
Yep.
But you're going to be rewarded.
Right. Yeah. Pay you in goodies. Pay you in golf balls and golf gloves.
Oh yeah.
In golf clubs, anything. The stuff that stuff really adds up too. So it's cool.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I miss those
Now,
things.
For you guys to answer, for yourself, when you guys go to the practice and you look at what part of your game, what time or what percentage do you put into the most? Is it chipping? Is it your mid irons? Is it putting? What is the one thing that you guys work on the most?
Simple answer is it all depends on your strengths and weaknesses.
I would agree with that.
Long-winded answer would be
Short game.
short game. Yeah, I mean that's short-winded answer too, but that's what everybody reverts back to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If you talk to
For me, I'm a short game specialist. That's all I do. So I was the only one on my team out of the 10 guys that my coach, he grabbed me over the side at the end of the year and said, "Mike, you're probably the only one on this team that needs to hit more golf balls."
Oh, wow.
So
and I was the same way in school because, I've not ever been a great driver of the golf ball, and I've always just been a mediocre ball striker. But just like Mike, I chip and putt the ball really well.
Yeah.
So, and any college coach you talk to, professional swing coach, PGA Tour player, they're going to tell you spend as much time, if not double amount of time, chipping and putting.
Yeah.
You can hit the ball as bad as you want all day long. If you can chip and putt, you can score with anybody.
Yeah.
Which Division I school in Florida has the best training facilities?
Ooh, that's a great one. Should we just take the easy
Well,
say Jackson
We
University?
expanded to the southeast region, but we're leaning towards Florida.
I would say University of Florida having as far as a Florida team goes. Now, best home golf course.
Well, I'm asking about training facilities.
Okay, on campus, yes, sir. I would say University of Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it's funny you asked that. Is it Steve asking that? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I think the farther north you go, the better the on-campus facilities are, at least from my perspective.
100%. And in the state of Florida, there are so many beautiful golf courses around every corner that college programs and coaches have access to. You don't even necessarily have to have a facility on campus in the state of Florida because, you've got 6 premier golf courses usually within a 30-minute drive of you, wherever you are in Florida.
Yeah.
And the farther north you go, you're looking at, indoor practice facilities.
Yeah, I'll put this in perspective, make it easier for you guys to see. At James Madison, we just got our indoor facility, 250 square foot indoor putting green, 10-person hitting bay, all on campus. It was in the same building as my classrooms. It was perfect. It was awesome. So when there's snow on the ground, it's the first place you go. It's the first place you learn. You have all the intangibles there. Our golf course was a 36-hole public golf course where people wore jeans and T-shirts. Flip side, beautiful Ponte Vedra Beach, Jacksonville, Florida. I don't know. They have a beautiful outdoor facility. And
What university?
Well, but they played TPC Sawgrass every day. They had privileges at numerous courses that are just as good, if not better, than TPC, and they played there on a regular basis. So
They couldn't, for example, go to TPC and I don't mean they couldn't go to TPC and spend 2 hours in the short game area Could they? Or do the courses allow the college kids to have the
Surprisingly, yes.
Yes, sir. We have, schools like Jacksonville University, we have a full membership through the PGA Tour there for all our players. So they have access to both golf courses and all the practice facilities, except for the tour range in the back. They have access to everything else at any time they want to play.
Steve, I think you'll see as you go along in your son's recruiting process and you get more in depth with it. Every college golf team they've spent a lot of money and they have really great places to practice. The TrackMan device that we have, plus the indoor room, plus our outdoor facility, even at James Madison, probably cost more than what it costs you guys to practice at TPC.
Correct.
It's a nicer facility,
yeah.
But our budget for where we are in the country and what we needed, might have been a little heightened or elevated. Yeah.
Well, that's encouraging. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now, for some colleges that I talked to, when you do the PGM program, they don't allow you to play on the college team. Why would that be?
I'm not too in tune with PGM programs. Are you?
They're two separate things. If you're in a PGM program, the thing that holds you back for that is during your time in college is you have to meet a progress towards degree, which is like amount of credits and grade point average that you have to maintain each semester. Well,
okay.
If you're in the PGM program, those credits that you're taking don't transfer towards your degree that you would need, like a business degree. So if you're in the PGM program, you're not eligible with the NCAA to play college golf.
Yeah.
That's the holdup they have with that.
So in essence, it would deem you ineligible to play college golf through the NCAA.
Correct. And they have like club teams and that kind of stuff on campus where you could play on a club team as a college golf if you're in the PGM, but you compete in Division I NCAA and college golf.
Yeah, not to mention the time commitment that it would probably take up to play college golf. That it would and it will take up to play college golf. PGM classes, they're around the clock, and as a college golfer, you're waking up at 5:30 in the morning. And my coach at James Madison, we had to have our classes done by noon.
Correct.
So,
oh wow,
you have a very tight window to fit your class schedules and your everything you need to do into, and that's kind of why time management is of so much importance.
So, what do the workouts consist of?
Well, again, it depends on the program.
Where you went, what did it consist of?
Well, honestly, we change every year. We went from, this is going to sound crazy. We went from doing Olympic-style lifts my freshman year, and we were sore at tournaments. We were bulked up. We were big. We looked good, but we weren't golf-specific, to doing Titleist Performance Institute workouts, to yoga, to ballet, if you can believe it. Yes, I did ballet.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Why would that be?
Flexibility, stability. A lot of good things happen in ballet that happen in the golf swing. That's not all we're doing, mind you. We're doing sprints. We're doing cardio. A lot of it's to keep you active, at least from my standpoint. If you don't have the cardio aspect in there, then your energy level is going to be down all the time. And I can break down a schedule for you another day, but you don't have the time commitment in college golf.
Right. And from the coaching standpoint, it was good for the players to get up and they're getting stronger, they're getting more flexible, and they're getting more physically ready. But from a coaching standpoint, to be completely honest with you, most of the time it's just getting the guys to get their butt out of bed.
Yeah.
Getting them active.
And make sure they're not doing something the night before that they shouldn't be doing.
Right. And
true.
Keeping the focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's keeping their commitment and making them get up and get their days rolling. And, they hate getting up at 5 a.m., but at 2 o'clock in the afternoon when they're full-blooded practicing and they have tons of energy, they're like, man, I feel good right now.
Yeah.
Because they've been up all day.
Yep. And over time, through those countless 5:30 a.m. workouts, it did make me a better person, and it's helped me with my business today and me as a person too.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And it shows you what life's all about and what hard work and determination can do for you.
Okay.
College golf is my best experience to this day, and I think Jamie can vouch for that too. So I guess we'll wrap this thing up. I wanted to thank Jamie. If you guys don't have any more questions, that is.
No, I'm good.
Good. You answered
Awesome.
pretty much everything.
Yeah, we went a little bit over time limit, but it was.
So, are you gonna be doing another webinar?
I will. We do these once a month with the Hurricane Tour. I do other webinars as well.
Okay.
So reach out to me. All my contact information's on the screen there.
Okay.
If you have any questions about recruiting process, and this goes for any of you guys, recruiting process, the admissions process, your playing schedules, making goals, anything, please give me a shout, email, text, phone call, whatever it is. I'd be happy to answer your questions.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem at all. This was great, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
And
I'll
Thanks,
definitely,
Jamie.
I'll definitely be back for another one.
Cool. Good to hear. And thanks a lot, bud, for coming
thank you.
on. I always enjoy it.
I enjoyed it.
I learned from you, and I hope you learned from me as well.
Definitely.
It's perfect. All right, guys, that's a wrap.
All right.
Everybody
See
have
ya.
a great night.
You too.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Get your webinar in.